Why do you come here?
Cyberpunk 2077. The ugly duck amongst CD PROJEKT RED's near-perfect catalogue of video games. If you mention this game to the average console owner, they would probably scoff and recall how bad this game was, but in reality, they've actually never played it. This game gets a bad rap, and when I say bad rap, I mean a bad rap. I'm talking McDonald's rap of the day level bad rap. And yeah, I said it, they are a bad rap. Deal with it. But despite this bad rap, I feel that this game is way better than its reputation would tell you. Dare I say that Cyberpunk 2077 is a genuinely good game. So let us take a stand together and fight that angry mob of Cyberpunk haters as we dive into why Cyberpunk 2077 is actually really good now.
If I need your body, I'll fuck it.
When I refer to this game's bad launch, I need to stress, it was absolutely dreadful. To even call it a video game at launch is honestly a stretch. This is probably the worst launch of all time that any game has ever had. But how did we get to that point? Cyberpunk 2077 was first announced in 2012, with the first trailer dropping in January 2013. Not only is this insane, considering that the game wasn't even in full development at this point, but The Witcher 3, which was CD PROJEKT RED's massive project at the time, was still 3 years off of releasing. Announcing a game and showing a trailer for it this early is an immediate red flag for a project that is definitely going to spend years in development hell. But the game looked really cool, so the red flags went unnoticed. Anyway, after this point, news of the game went cold for 6 long years. Until, finally, E3 2018 came around. And is that Keanu Reeves?
Dick.
Well, I mean, we all love Keanu, and this is a great piece of news about a game that has gone cold for years. Nothing could go wrong. Right? E3 2019 came around and Cyberpunk was slated for an April 2020 release, which got delayed to September, and then delayed again to November, and then delayed again to December. And after all this time that this game has had in the proverbial oven, you'd expect this game to be fully cooked and fully up to standard by now, right? Cyberpunk 2077 finally released on the 10th of December 2020 and was an unmitigated disaster. The game hardly functioned, crashes, cars randomly clipping through the floor, NPCs not behaving normally. The entire game was a mess. But hey, at least I can customize the size of my penis, right? Especially on the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game, two consoles which were just not powerful enough to run such a massive game. This was so unplayable that Sony and Microsoft in fact offered refunds to everyone who bought the game. The PC version fared a little better, but was still messy. The game was not meant to receive next-gen PS5 and Xbox Series X versions until mid-2021, and even then, they were pushed back to early 2022, another delay. So, 10 years on, from Cyberpunk 2077's official unveiling, the next-gen versions of the game were released, and with them, you could say that at that point, the real game had finally come out. It was at this point that I decided to play the game on PS5. Up to this point, I've been watching the dumpster fire from outside, and when I dived into that great flaming bin, I was pleasantly surprised.
Johnny Silverhand is coming.
Obviously, this game has skeletons in its closet. Overworked developers, one of the worst launches of all time, lawsuits, and many other issues. But if you look at this game in a vacuum, just Cyberpunk 2077 for what it is in the year 2023. My god, dare I say this is a brilliant game. In this game, you play as V, who is a highly customizable blank slate character. V talks, and V talks a lot, but you get to completely choose what they do, what they say, and what they look like. Despite very much playing an active role in the story, you are V and V is you. The protagonist of this game isn't just along for the ride watching the story unfold around them, like the protagonists from Fallout, for example. The game even lets you pick one of 3 backstories for V, which not only changes the first hour or so of gameplay as well as some dialogue options later on, but it also helps the less creative players make their own history for their version of V. This game heavily encourages the player to roleplay as V, to give them whatever personality they want to give them. After this player-chosen prologue, V moves to Night City and starts life as a gun for hire. During a job, V has a cybernetic implant put in their head which causes them to start to deteriorate. As well, they start seeing and be able to talk to Keanu Reeves, who in this world is called Johnny Silverhand and died many years ago. So from here, Night City is yours to explore as you try to save V's life and separate V from Johnny. For the open world RPG with a heavy emphasis on role-playing that this is, you'd expect the story to take a backseat like it does in other heavy roleplay games, like Dark Souls for example, but not here. The story of this game is front and center, and I am absolutely engaged by it. The main plot is enough motivation to keep playing through the main missions. Every time this game gives you a bit of story, you're interested, and every time this game gives you a bit of side content that is optional, you want to do it because you want to spend more time with these characters and you want to spend more time in Night City. The gameplay within Cyberpunk feeds into the themes and tones really smoothly as well. Cruising around Night City in cars and motorcycles feels amazing due to the game's excellent driving controls as well as the gorgeous environments you'll be driving through. Gunplay is tight and every opportunity to get shooting is some of the most fun you'll have in this game. The variety of weapons on display in this game is simply staggering. It genuinely seems like there's an infinite number of weapons in here. And it's surprising to me that this game is seemingly the first fully open world looter shooter. These genres blend so well, being able to explore wherever you want and find weapons, ammo and armor around every corner is a joy. This game is definitely an open world first, a looter shooter second, with a layer of RPG elements on top. The game features a few skill trees in multiple different categories, and it really encourages you to specialise in one or two of them when building your version of V's skills. I specialised in using a sword and pistols because I'm very boring, but nothing gets my neurons firing like using a katana. You call it brain rot, but I call it fun. As well as customizing V's personality, backstory, and build, you can also customize V's wardrobe, just like their Barbie. This game has so many pieces of gear in it, meaning you can dress V exactly how you want to. And to the people at CD PROJEKT RED, thank you so much for putting a transmog system in this game. If you don't know what a transmog system is, it allows you to use the stats of one piece of gear while using the appearance of another. I was really worried that this game wouldn't have one, since The Witcher 3 didn't have one for some godforsaken reason, but thankfully it does, and I get to dress my version of V in some sick outfits, which is always a win to me.
And so am I.
Unfortunately, due to the way that this game was handled up to and after its release, this game has a damaged reputation. So many people who would otherwise have had a great experience in Night City have missed out due to improper handling of one of the biggest gaming projects of all time. And honestly, I'm confident. If this game launched in the state it is now, it would be up there with CD PROJEKT RED's other big titles like The Witcher 3. Cyberpunk is a great game, and it deserves better. Hopefully the reputation of this game will heal over time. People have been jumping into the next-gen versions of this game and having a great time with it. And not to mention, the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime has also done a lot to improve the way that this game is perceived. So what I'm trying to say in this video is give Cyberpunk 2077 a chance. Play the game exactly how you want, and immerse yourself within Night City. It's by no means perfect, but this game does live up to the hype it had before its release. I'll see you in the next one, Chooms.
In Night City, you can become...